PS4 mods are dead. It's official, ladies and gentlemen. Today, this morning, as of this recording, Bethesda has announced that mods will not be allowed on the PS4 due to Sony. I'm really sorry to have to deliver this news. The number one comment I get on all my videos is from PS4 players who are curious about when mods are coming to the PS4. Bethesda has long promised them, they even had a release date for them, but the mods never appeared. We have long speculated that this was due to a holdup on Sony's end, and Bethesda confirmed that today with their press release. Now, some may say that this is just marketing spin from Bethesda trying to shirk the responsibility of PS4 mods onto Sony. And that could quite possibly be true. However, we know that console mods are possible. After all, mods are available on the Xbox One. So clearly this demonstrates that Bethesda has the will and determination to get mods for console players. The holdup clearly has to be on the Sony side of things. So why is Sony giving Bethesda a hard time? What's the holdup? What's the delay? Well, all we can do is purely speculate, but this is what I think. Every business, gaming companies included, has to make decisions that they think are going to be the most profitable. The vast majority of games that you can play on the PS4 do not require mods, there's no modding community, and there never will be. They're trying to put in the least amount of effort possible to maximize their revenue. I speculate that they simply don't see modding as being a long-term popular evolution of gaming on consoles. And I think that's a bet that they have misjudged. I think that the modding community is thriving and that there's going to be a great desire for mods on the PS4 and all consoles for quite some time. Modding on the PC has had a very long history. It's extremely popular with games like Skyrim, a game that is 5 years old as of this recording, and there is no end in sight. This is a gamble that I think Sony has misjudged. If Sony has truly decided to not allow mods for Fallout 4 on the PS4 because they don't think it's going to be profitable enough for them, then I think that they have made a poor decision. I don't think that that's accurate. We must also bear in mind the technological limitations of modding on consoles. It could quite possibly be that to allow mods on the PS4 would require a reworking of the way that PS4 software functions. Maybe it's simply not humanly possible without recreating the way the PS4 works. If that's the case, then I can understand why Sony wouldn't want to allow mods on their PS4. But this brings up another issue. Even the way Fallout 4 modding finally manifested on the Xbox One leaves a lot to be desired. Yes, Microsoft allowed mods for Fallout 4 on the Xbox One, and they should be praised for that. Thank you, Microsoft. We appreciate it. But it comes with a bunch of limitations. The first is that console gamers don't have access to the Fallout 4 script extender, which is important because there are a lot of mods out there that use the script extender to allow the game to do things that Bethesda never even intended with their game. That means that consoles will never have access to the wide range of mods that were designed for the PC. This is something I don't even think most players understand, which is why PC modders get really frustrated. If you go to places like Nexus Mods or Bethesda.net, you see some mod authors who are shutting down their mods because they are inundated by requests from console gamers saying, hey, please port your mods over to consoles or else. It can get overwhelming, especially if you're not paid to make your mods, and if you're an amateur mod maker. You're just doing this for the love of the game, you're doing it for fun. And some players don't understand that the script extender doesn't exist for consoles, so it's impossible to port your particular PC mod that depends upon scripts over to the console. So, my fellow gamers, let's leave our modders alone, let's not make demands of them. Sometimes there are just limitations to the platform you've chosen to use, and mods don't work on it. Another issue is that consoles have weaker hardware. Many of the most popular PC mods use 2 to 4K textures, which can greatly impact frame rates on consoles. To get mods like that to work, you need a killer, top-of-the-line graphics card with an amazing GPU. And that's hardware that just does not exist on consoles. Remember, when you're playing on a console, you're paying somebody else to basically build a gaming machine for you. Instead of having the options and the freedom to put in the hardware that you want, so that you can play the games that you want, you're just having somebody else make that decision for you. And that person is going to choose the cheapest hardware that they can possibly choose that's going to make their product functional while still maximizing their revenue. Another limitation is that for the Xbox One, you can't exceed 2 gigabytes for your mods. Well, that's going to be fine for many people, but for some gamers like myself, I have over 300 mods installed in my game, and that would be completely impossible without using the PC. Look, I'm not here to have a console versus PC gaming war or anything. I just want to point out that there are some hardware and software limitations when it comes to having mods for any console. These are things that Microsoft was able to get over. Maybe Sony just couldn't find a way around it. But at the end of the day, you've got thousands of gamers who are just disappointed. They wanted to play Fallout 4, they wanted to play Skyrim, and they wanted to play on the PS4 with mods. And at the end of the day, they're the ones who paid the money for it. That was what their expectation was, and they're disappointed. And that's a bummer, and I can only say that I'm so sorry to all of my PS4 players out there who are watching and who are walking away just sad. So, what's the best way to respond to something like this? Well, with your pocketbook. We now know that Sony doesn't have the will to allow mods for their platform. The most appropriate response is to show them how important mods are to this community by putting our money elsewhere. If you're a PS4 gamer and you respond to this with bile and anger and death threats, and you go to modders and you say, I want my mods, and you go to Bethesda and you send them angry tweets saying, I want my mods, and then you go back to playing your PS4, it's not going to change anything. Bethesda ignores those messages, Sony ignores those messages, and modders shut down all their mods because they're not used to having that kind of response. However, if you respond by taking a look at the way that you choose to consume gaming, and if you're a console gamer, going with the Xbox, or maybe you decide to try and build your own PC. If Sony starts losing money because they're losing players who are buying their platform, that is the only way that they're going to ever allow mods on any of their platforms. If we just send Bethesda a bunch of angry tweets and then we go back to playing our PS4, then that proves Sony right. It means that they made a good gamble. It means that mods really are not that important, that we really don't care enough about them, that it's really not worth their time. It means that they're right. They need to be reminded that they're creating a product for consumers who have a choice. And if enough people are choosing alternatives because their needs are not met on the PS4, that is the only way that we're going to get a positive reaction from Sony. So that's the news of the day. Bad news, and I'm sorry to have to deliver it. There's a lot of blame that can go around, blame on Sony's end, blame on Bethesda's end. But the only people who really are impacted by this are going to be PS4 gamers who were really hoping to have mods on the PS4. So let's not mock the PS4 gamers and say things like you chose the wrong console or PC Master Race and yada yada yada. That's not the appropriate way to respond. Let's just give them our sympathy and we can move on with our gaming. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you like videos like this that kind of cover the news of the day, please subscribe for more Fallout 4, Nuka World, and gaming videos in general. And thank you so much for watching.